Good morning. We're going to start the day off putting up some more plot signs on the bean field here. Got Xander today. We're getting them. The fighter jets are out flying today. Let's see, what are the chances I can find this? Oh, right there. There's one. There's another one. Somewhere off that way. I don't know. I've been circling. It's a lot of plot signs, a lot of entries. So there are 3 more on that end that we could use. Their agronomic trials. I don't have the right sign, so we'll see if I get them. And 1 on that end that I need to get yet. I put a post in for that one because I think we'll be able to get it. The other ones I have no idea, so we'll see. I'm gonna go see if we got any more signs that Xander can put up elsewhere, field signs, or not. I've got a list. I've asked for some more, so we'll see if I get them. It is about 11 o'clock here. Let's run over to the straw field where they raked yesterday and see what it looks like. See how much they got done and if it looks like it's going to be dry enough to bale today. Well, they did get it all raked. How does it feel? Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. A little tough way underneath there. That's going to be the struggle. How do you get that to dry out? That isn't going to go. That's wet. I'd hate to have them flip them again, but sort of what it feels like there. You can't bale wet straw. That's a big no-no. The bales will, yeah, they didn't flip these very good. Flipped it on top of the wet stuff instead of spinning the wet stuff to the top. Okay, that does not make me optimistic for getting this planted tomorrow. Crap. All right. Anywhere that the windrows got ran over when we were combining, there's a lot of wet there because it got pushed down into the ground rather than sitting on top of the straw, the stubble. We need to do a better job with our grain cart and not running over straw is what that turns amounts to. Like obviously the turns, it's gonna happen. I wonder if this field's dry enough to plant. You're gonna have to turn over it at some point, and you're gonna do some. But when you're unloading on the go, we can't have that one track running down a windrow. Can't do that. Yeah, this one's dry enough. If I should get the planter and come do this quick before we go combine, do this front field and get it done. I think we'll do that. All right, we are back to planting some soybeans. So we just got this little 13-acre field here that we're gonna try and do. We can see daylight underneath our crossbar on our seed tank, so we don't have enough seed to plant this, I'm guessing. Make sure I don't hit that electric box over there, or telephone box. Anyway, we'll plant what we can here until we run out of seed, and then we'll see what else we got and what we want to do next. I have 2 more boxes of stuff that I was going to run through the treater to flush stuff and plant them, but not entirely sure we're going to get it done, so I don't want to run them through the treater if they're not going to get planted. And I've got some other miscellaneous stuff that's got to get used up yet. So, we'll see. I just want to get this done. Our tanks are a little uneven. We're going to have to go level them up, but I didn't put even amounts in each box, so I expect that. So in adding to the list of equipment trouble that we have, this tractor doesn't want to steer. Extremely hard steering, and I don't know why. It was doing this the other day, but then it got a lot better pretty quickly, and today it's not doing it. It's not getting better. I can turn it, but it's really slow and really takes a lot of effort. I don't understand. I don't know why that would do that. So another thing we've got to fix on our crappy old equipment. 6,200 hours. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll struggle through it until we're empty here and then see if we can't figure something out. I don't even know what to look at. Like clearly it works, but it's like there's no power steering. But it's almost worse than no power steering because it's just slow. It's slightly better to the left than the right, but not by much. The planter hydraulics work just fine, but like now we were way off our line. It's gonna hunt back and forth because the auto steer doesn't even move it fast. So I slow way down. Well, that wasn't so bad. I don't know, but I can't turn very good. Almost across the front part here, we got this, yeah, whatever. We're gonna even out our seed tanks a little bit. I could be wrong. I am likely wrong. But that yellow plant there looks an awful lot like canola. Where'd that come from? I don't know that that's what that is. But I do know that canola has yellow flowers. We should maybe not plant through the water here. We'll lift over that. So this front field here has kind of got two parts. The part up there by the road we've got done, and then we got another area back here. The shape of the field looks something like that. And I can see a lot of daylight under both of our tanks there, or both sides. So we're gonna run out pretty quickly. They're relatively even. I don't know if we get this finished or not, but we'll plant until it's gone. Okay, well, we got all this one planted. I did not plant the end rows where along the lane where we pull in there. That's the spot where I'm probably going to pile a bunch of gypsum this fall, later this summer. And so that's a good spot for it. We're just going to not plant those ends. But got the rest of it done. I'm going to jump into the backfield. There's very little seed left in those hoppers, but I just kind of want to plant this out because this is all I got of this variety. And then we're going to switch. I've got some 3-0s that we're going to plant out. And then... what from there? Good question. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, I'm not going to do that today because I'm going to let them get some more straw baled. So we got this one done. We'll see if they can get that straw off of there today or not. I don't know if it's going to happen. It isn't the end of the world if it doesn't. Like I said, I really just want to plant out the beans that we've already got done. If I can get another box or two through the treater and plant it out, I would do that, but I don't know if that's really going to happen. So today is the 8th, I believe. Yeah, July 8th. So I got about 3 more days, but realistically it looks like today and tomorrow, and then it's going to get some more rain and we'll probably be done. Low tank warning. Can't even see any beans out there anymore. Just waiting for a row to run empty. For whatever reason today, the left side's been planting lower than the right side, but it's like 20,000. It's not the end of the world. I don't really care that much. I'm wondering, I didn't put any talc in when I dumped those paper bags in, and they all went in the left side. And I'm wondering if that lack of talc and the humidity is making the seed not flow the same. It's possible. In fact, it's probably likely. We'll see if it changes when I put more seed in and try and remember to put talc on it. Maybe. I was able to make one pass there before we ran out of beans, so that's good. I'm gonna grab some lunch real quick, and then I think we're gonna go start combining wheat. Let's go combine wheat. Do our daily oil check. Hydraulic oil level looks good. Do our sight gauge there. Engine oil, also good. Go fire it up. See if our foot pedal works today. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good day. Well, we're starting off with some pretty dry wheat here. It says 13%. 12.9. Well, that'll work. So we got a little bit to get from here to those beans on this part of the field, building up here, and then all of this is also a part of this field. So there's roughly 90 acres here total. We've got about 26 done. We'll be here most of the day. Well, I got this side done over here. Wheat's still reasonably dry. Subpar yield is what it is. All right, we got to do some end rows through our muck holes here. Yeah, see our ruts down there from the sprayer. We got some giant rags out here. They're sparse like this. We can combine through them. Where they're giant patches like that, we're gonna go around them. We got to do over there as well. I'm a little concerned that some of this is going to be pretty wet in here. Right here it's not bad, but this muck, if it's too wet
or it's wet, you'll bury a combine before you even know you're spinning or stuck or it's muddy. Like you're just done. And so we're trying to be a little careful. There's a bad spot up here, I know. We'll see how we get through here. So I had mentioned in yesterday's video how this is the first time that we have ever had wheat on this field. Wheat in the muck pockets is a major challenge. Like everything's a challenge, but wheat is much more so. Weed control obviously is a problem. This dirt raises giant ragweeds really, really well, and controlling them in the wheat can be very difficult. We clearly struggled with that. However, the other major concerns that I had was the wheat going down. And you can see we got just a little bit on this edge here, but that's really not too bad. But the muck is high organic matter. Like, when I say high organic matter, I'm talking 40% plus organic matter. And so, if you know anything about soils and how they work and stuff, we can get some nitrogen from the organic matter in our soil. Typically, on our normal ground, we would say that 1% of organic matter might mineralize 10 to 20 pounds of nitrogen per year. Now, that's throughout a growing season. In the summer, when it's warm, obviously with wheat, we're only utilizing half of the summer growing season, so it's going to be a little bit less that we're getting from that. But still, it's going to get some nitrogen from that organic matter. Well, we apply a lot of nitrogen to our wheat to grow a good wheat crop. So while that's beneficial, it makes it very difficult for us to know how much are we getting? How much more nitrogen do we need to put on? And what happens if we put too much nitrogen on our wheat? It goes down. It gets too heavy. The heads and the stalk get too heavy to support itself, and it can get flat, especially if we get any kind of a windstorm. And so that's where the nitrogen management side of it becomes very difficult. So in order to manage through that, because we knew we had this wheat in this muck this year, we did two things. First thing we did was variable rate the nitrogen. And I don't know how well Dad followed my script when we were putting the nitrogen on here. We put all this on one shot, and I think some of it he followed it, some of it he didn't. But I tried to put about 25% less nitrogen on in the muck pockets compared to the high ground and the rest of the field. So that's the first thing we did. The second thing we did was spray all of this with Palisade. So Palisade is that growth regulator that I used on wheat. We actually sprayed this on with the drone because we didn't want to be out here with the big sprayer because of the ruts like you can see right in front of me. Plus it was wet in April and early May when we were spraying that, so challenging, right? I do have to say though, that Palisade worked really, really well because we have very little down wheat. I was afraid this first two passes, these ends along this ditch, everything on the other side of it in the low ground was going to be just completely flat, and it's not. It's leaning a little bit here, but nothing that I can't get in the head. So really, really happy with how we managed through some of those challenges. Obviously the weed control still got away from us there. We've got a little pocket that's down. That may be some nitrogen overlap from the angled end rows here. You know, it's not perfect. An exact apply sprayer would solve some of that issues. But yeah, I don't know that we will ever plant wheat on this field again, quite frankly. I should mention, so that Palisade, I talked about it a lot this spring when we were applying it. You can go back and find those if you really want to. But essentially, it's a growth regulator that limits the stem elongation. It keeps the wheat shorter, and it makes it have a bigger, thicker stalk, which makes it support itself better. And it works. There's a couple of spots out here where I am pretty sure the drone hovered a little bit too long because the wheat is about that tall, and it just stayed really short. So I saw a guy on social media that was experimenting with spraying it on his lawn to keep his lawn from growing tall, so he didn't have to mow it. I'm really curious to see how that plays out because there's an application there, isn't there? So anyway, it works. I was pretty happy with it here. It did what it needed to do. I'll have to go back and do some evaluations on some of the trials and stuff to see if we gain any yield from it in the other places where we used it. But ease of harvest and ability to get through it is worth every penny that we spent for this field. Here goes the two fawns I chased out yesterday. Chased them out again. Making this pass along these trees here. You can see we have a variety change right here. There's one pass. Two passes maybe. with the planter or whatever. So this is our newer 015. That's our SY100, our trusted standby that's been really good wheat. So this isn't the best place for a side-by-side comparison right along the trees in this field in particular, but it might give us some usable data. So we haven't harvested much of the SY100 yet. The only field of that I've done is the stuff that was around my seed warehouse, and it was really good wheat, but that's a really good farm. So most everything that we have left, except for the strip, is the 100. It's our fuller season wheat, and it's been our best wheat the last few years. So maybe the wheat will pick up a little bit. All right, well, we just got off of a like 2 hour plus long live stream. That was excessive, but yeah, we're moving across this field here. It looks like that. I mentioned this phone's charged. I can unplug it. It's actually better wheat than I was anticipating. I thought this was going to fall off quite a bit, and most of it's been pretty good. Our yield keeps ticking up a little bit. It's not fantastic wheat, but it's not getting worse. So that's really good. This might not be our worst wheat like I thought it was going to be. We're still fighting some weeds and muck pockets and going to get worse here in a minute, but we're getting across here up to 64 acres harvested of about 90 in the field. So 25 or so to go. We should get there, get this one done pretty easily today. We'll see if we can get anywhere else or not. I don't know. Phil has moved the grain cart to the far end of the field so that we can load trucks over there. There's a lane over there that's really rough. It's not fun for getting trucks in and out, but you don't have to walk this far to get to the grain cart. It's just easier. So that's what he's doing. We have quite a jungle of deer habitat here. Just chased a couple out. There's probably more in there. We're gonna need to get the mower out. I think that was what Xander was working on this afternoon. We'll try and mow some of this stuff down the edge of all these wheat fields, especially over here, all these giant ragweeds. We can't be having that. Hole over there is, we don't farm that. That's always there. It's bigger this year than normal, but it's not something that we're trying to farm through, so it's okay that there's some weeds there. All right, so you can see this big hole that we farm around in the middle here, and you got trees out there and everything. But normally that's a straight line across here, and we don't jog around all of this. And then we've got this arc. You see that? With all these giant ragweeds growing in it? That's the high water mark. That's where when we got the big floods, the water filled up to there. It pushed all the giant ragweed branches and seeds and stuff up to there, and it smothered out the wheat like this. So the wheat couldn't grow through that, where the stuff all sat, and then the giant ragweed seeds all sprouted and grew. And now the water receded quick enough that we didn't kill off all of the wheat, which is why I had a pass in the middle here. But then once you get down into here, the water did not recede fast enough, and we lost that wheat. So it's just kind of interesting that you can see what exactly happened based on what's out here in the field right now. Got a few ragweeds scattered out here in this first pass along this edge. We are right next to one of our bean fields. That's a See and Spray field. We sprayed the See and Spray machine, and we got all the weeds. It's really clean right now. Looks pretty good. There was one spot back behind us where I couldn't get close enough to the edge to get them all. Maybe a couple of spots, but that was due to the ground conditions limitations, not the See and Spray machine missing stuff. So Dad's been spraying around the edges of some fields with the gator, cleaning some stuff up. We need to come back over here, get those ones that are right down on the edge. We're also, like I said, get the mower out, clean up a bunch of stuff as well. So we're getting there. Looks like we could use another shot of some manganese over some of these hills here. I don't know if we sprayed all the way back here. We did this stuff up by the road farther when we sprayed with the drone. That's probably been 2 weeks ago. So next week, I'm guessing we'll give it another shot. Keep them green. I have avoided this for about as long as you can avoid it. We need to open up this triangle, getting up to the house or the road along the house here, and well, it's not going to be real fun. This is where it gets real hairy here. We're in this triangle. This is all muck ground. It's all high organic matter, super black. It's that right there. Why are we pushing that? What is going on? Oh, it's a rut. That's a sprayer track. Yep, there's a sprayer track right there. Oh boy. Feel it? You can't feel it. I can feel it. Oh boy. Yeah, this is not fun. Although it's not fun with corner beans either, but we're probably not gonna plant wheat here again. guys know how in the past I have talked about how farmers don't spray Roundup on wheat because it'll kill the wheat? Now there is an exception to that. There's some places out western United States, north, maybe up into Canada, where they'll do some desiccation with some glyphosate pre-harvest kind of thing. Not very common, not something that we have ever done, not something I've ever understood the need for. Probably could have done that here. I very easily could have come out here 2 weeks ago with some glyphosate and some 2,4-D, which is labeled. I looked it up. It is labeled up to 14 days pre-harvest. And we could have killed all these ragweeds, and that would make this harvest pass way easier and controlled it. But I've also told you how I don't really think it's a great idea to spray glyphosate on a mature, headed-out crop that we're harvesting for food purposes. Not because I think it's dangerous in any way, shape, or form. But the perception of that is probably not great, right? So we didn't do that. Obviously, we didn't do that. I got the tailings full alarm slip clutch, so I went through a bunch of ragweed there. Yeah, that figures. So, dig it out. Yeah, she's full. It doesn't like green material too awful well. It's not packed in there horrible, so I think it'll come out. We'll run it with the door open. It all came out. Alright. I'm trying to avoid it. I really am. I'm trying. It's not easy. I think we're playing the chase the raccoon game here. We'll be alright as long as he doesn't decide he wants to go for a run on the treadmill. Here he comes. You're running out of room. There he goes. That's a little guy. We go pretty slow in wheat. Sometimes in beans they can't keep up and they go for a run on the treadmill and I have to hit the stop button real fast. Well, we made it to the point of our triangle here. And this is going to be our last pass. We're going to let the ragweeds over there sit. Not bad. Not bad. So, we got 90 3/4 acres here. Which is about what I thought. Minus, you know, all the spots we had to go around. So if we look at our map up here, you can see the holes. It's not a lot, right? There's a big drowned out spot there. There's a big spot there, and a little couple there, and a little bit there, and then these ones down in where we're at right now. So, is what it is. Not that end of the world, but yeah. The wheat here was much better than what I anticipated. I thought we would be lucky to have 75 bushel wheat in this field, and it made dang near 85. So that's good. We'll take it. Unfortunately, it is almost 8:30 at night, and by the time we were to get moved tonight, it is going to be dark and the wheat will be tough. So I think we're going to call it here for the night. We need fuel, DEF for tomorrow, so we'll have Xander bring the fuel trailer over in the morning before we can get rolling. I don't know that we're going to be able to finish tomorrow. We've got about 110 acres of wheat to run yet. It would take a massive day. We'd have to get started at like 10 o'clock in the morning and work until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And I just don't know if we're going to be able to get that done. So, especially with chances of rain. But it is what it is. Looking at our yield map here, there was definitely a lot of better spots on this side of the field. Like, there's just more dark green over here. So, I really believe that's varietal. There was a variety break right across here. This was different than this. This side of the field where it was a little bit better is this is our best wheat. It has been for several years. This SY100 AgriPro is hard to beat. So, we're probably going to keep planting it for a while. Drove the combine back over to where we started the day because that's where my truck is. So we'll take this home. I'm gonna go check and see how the straw baling guys are doing. I see round bales over there. That's where we baled, or we combined yesterday. They got that little field done. They wanted to get that baled up before it got rained on. Baling guys are like done here. Got them all stacked up and most of them hauled out already. I see a Baron. I wonder if they're making a last pass on a windrow. Oh yeah, there's the double baler. Well, let's go look at it. He's all bunched up. That's not good. They're having trouble with their bale chute, and trying to get the bales to fall out and into a line. My platform's coming together. Look at this. Got our angle braces welded on. We got some floor supports. I still don't know if I like this coming out this far. I'm thinking we need to chop it off there, but we'll see. We'll talk to Dad about it. It looks great though. He's doing a great job. So just need some boards to go across the top. Well, we'll see how tomorrow goes. Not a bad day today. We didn't get a huge number of acres done, but got that field done. So like I said, we're down to about 110 acres, but it's in 5 different fields, kind of 3 different spots. We'll have to move 3 times to get done. So we'll start with the smaller one that's closest to home, the corner field of the irrigated field up there. We'll start there tomorrow morning and then move the rest are east from there. So I don't know. We'll get what we can done. I am going to try and get the rest of the beans planted in the morning. Oh, it's tomorrow Thursday? Yeah, I got to reschedule my I had a guy coming to do some soybean dumps. We're going to have to reschedule that because I got to get beans planted in the morning. Yeah. And then we'll see how far the combine gets. Dad might have to run the combine for me for a while tomorrow until I get done with the bean stuff. So progress. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, please think about subscribing, and make sure you give the video a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. So appreciate it. We'll see you guys.